Hi, everyone, and welcome. I want to do a slow, sensuous walk through the Rose Pocket Oracle today because when I did that marathon of Hay House decks, it was really quick, and I felt this deck deserved a little bit more. Now, I was going to create a cloth for the cards, but who needs a cloth when you have a bed of roses? So, this is the Rose Pocket Oracle by Rebecca Campbell with artwork by Katie-Louise. So I'll just show you the cards. Now you might notice a little bit of pencil here with a number. These cards are not numbered in the sequences, and it's a little bit time consuming trying to find the page for the information. So that helped me out a little bit. I did work with this deck for the last 3 or 4 days, and the message that I'm getting is, for me, this might be a deck where it's more, I guess, a feeling when I read with these cards. Not so much the wording or the title of the card, but just to take the time I spend with it in a more internal way than physical and looking. More sensing, I think, emotional connections. Some of these cards, like this one, they stand out much better. So it might, if I do make a cloth, have to be somewhat of a darker tone in order for these to stand out. I think it is a very gentle, a very kind deck. This one comes up often for me, as well as this one. It doesn't matter how I shuffle. They seem to come up together. And I apologize if the ticking of the clock bothers you. I'm upstairs in my tea room today, and there's a very old-fashioned clock, but it can be almost hypnotic. And I did put out a post today asking people what they thought of the 3 cards that I drew for a inspirational 3-card reading for us. And I'd love to hear your take on the cards. Because so far, the words don't connect as much as the images. And that's okay. That's a quite a dark one, eh? There is a face in there. That's a gorgeous card. Get these up a little bit. There we go. And as much as I wanted to let my cherub run free on the side here, I had to be careful and cover his little bottom in case someone complained on my channel on YouTube. The hoops we have to jump through these days when showing things of beauty. And the card backs are kind of nice, and the stock is really good. And Rebecca does have a little video with the attunement or the invitation of working with the energy of the rose, and that is one of the mantras at the first, come to me. The second bloom. It's almost like the judgment card, you're getting that second chance, new possibilities, opening up. And it's something I want to add to my garden this spring is a little variety of roses. I like the old-fashioned tea roses. And something with a wonderful scent. So, just gonna lay down 3 here, make a little room, 3 more cards, and again invite you to lend your definitions. You can see they shuffle really, really nice. They're a wonderful size if you have smaller hands. And let's just see if these cards talk to you and what your message would be if you received these cards. What have we got there? We've got Sub Rosa, hidden in plain sight. And that came up for me this morning. There's another deck that someone mentioned. I think it's a love tarot. And I'm trying to build my connection with Amy Zerner and all the decks by her and her husband. And it is hidden in plain sight. I think I know what that deck is she's talking about. So for us today, it's learning and teaching with this card here. The Great Mother asking us to surrender to the mystery and trust. And the Return, where there's a new story, alignment, and coming together. And let's just see, now that I've got the cards numbered with pages, some further information maybe I can share here. So the Sub Rosa, it talks about the rose being a symbol of secrecy. The ancient Romans wore rose garlands on special occasions, and when these were hung above important meeting places, the conversations that took place beneath were considered sub rosa, or under the rose. It was then understood that things said under the rose would be kept secret and not repeated. Ooh, I like that. Now, as far as the Great Mother goes, I've got to find out what that number is. 126. Hang tight. So the Great Mother ushers you in when you took your first breath, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life on earth can be, and that at times being human can be painful, lonely, and confusing. That the polarity and separation can be difficult when your soul remembers the oneness of Source. But at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. And there's a lot more in the book than just that. And if we go to the return, so are we returning to the Great Mother? Is there something in plain sight that is talking to us and asking us to surrender? These are just words. I haven't even got to this yet. And that there is a new story, something aligning for us. So let's see what the return is. We've been waiting patiently for this moment, and you've likely been working on the inner for some time, and now the outer is beginning to come into alignment. As changing beings, we're in a never-ending growth cycle. This doesn't mean that we're not constantly in bloom. This means that we're constantly changing. This card is like the bloom, however, it's more powerful than that. It heralds the coming and going of a whole new way of being, an entirely new story that is yet to be written. Well, those are very nice words. And as I say, if you guys have different takes on these cards, or if this makes sense to you, let me know. What haven't you noticed that might be in plain sight? Can you surrender to the change, maybe, and begin to write a new story? Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you back here again.